Hi, welcome to the 3 Slides series of videos. My name is Ed Lawrence, the founder of Getstart-ed. In this series, I ask job coaches and career counselors to show us what they consider as the 3 most important slides from their presentations on a specific topic. Our objective in the series is to present in a brief amount of time the most important concepts that will help you land a job or transition to a new career. Today's guest is Tom Patria. Tom is a career services professional in the Boston area with almost 20 years experience. He is professionally trained and certified in resume writing, interviewing, and career coaching. Tom is also a global career development facilitator. Tom currently works at the Boston Graduate School of Psychoanalysis in Brookline and is a group leader for the 50-plus job seekers networking group. He has extensive previous experience in higher education career services. So Tom, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi Ed, thank you so much for having me.
So you have chosen 3 slides from your interviewing presentation, correct?
I have.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to you leading us all through the best concepts.
Excellent, excellent. Well, great to be here, Ed. I think very important for job seekers to focus on is their body language. Especially during these times, there's a lot of negativity out there, and you can't show an employer, an interviewer, negative body language. So you want to project a positive image. And the way you can do that is in your physical presentation. You're going to look the part when you go into the interview. You're going to look them in the eye. You're going to shake their hand. You're going to keep a smile on your face. In an in-person interview, sit down, sit slightly towards them to convey interest, nod your head, smile, watch your tone of voice. You don't want to be a robot. Folks are usually very nervous when they go to interviews. But the interviewers are also a little nervous. They don't know the job seekers, and maybe they're not experienced interviewers. So it's important to smile. It reinforces your self-confidence in the image that you're projecting, and the interviewer wants that feedback. Rather than you telling them you're doing a great job, you're smiling, you're letting them know, yes, I understand what you're saying. I have the abilities to do that. What's so important, though, is you just don't want to sit there like a statue. You've got to be an active participant by nodding in agreement, keeping a smile on your face, and always, always maintaining eye contact with the interviewer. Next slide, please. When we talk about nonverbal communication, a huge portion of the message that you're sending is through nonverbal behavior. So that means the interview, the questions and answers, is about 35%. So you really have to focus on your nonverbal communication. Maintaining eye contact with the interviewer shows that you're listening to them. If you can't look at the interviewer in the eyes, little trick, look at the interviewer between their eyebrows or the tip of their nose. That way they won't know that you're not looking at them directly in the eyes, but it will seem that you are. Watching your smile, always having a smile. Be careful with your facial expressions. You don't want to accidentally sneer at something or frown upon something that they say that you don't necessarily like or want to do in a particular job. Handshakes are very important. Now with COVID-19, we don't know how this is going to be going forward for in-person interviews, but until other career experts say otherwise, shake their hand. It's very important. Focus on your appearance, dressing appropriately for interviews. And of course, it depends on, interviewing at a bank is much different than a venture capital startup company, but err on the side of caution. Suits and ties, dress shirts, collared blouses, solid colors, blacks, browns, grays, things like that. Your physical appearance should be very presentable. Posture and how you sit. You can send a message if you slouch in your chair. It shows that you're disinterested. You don't want to be there. You want to sit upright. Scoot your butt to the front of the seat. Put your hands together in your lap. Put one foot in front of the other. Knees close together. watching your tone of voice, of course, and most importantly, and Ed, you know this as a professional interviewer yourself, professional interactions with everyone that you come in contact with, the front desk when you check in, security at the front desk of the building. It needs to be, you need to have a professional interaction with everybody, because depending on the employer, everyone might be a part of the decision process of whether or not to bring you in, bring you on board. Next slide, please. A new trend that will get more and more popular, especially now, are robot interviews with artificial intelligence, one-way interviews. It is going to be a thing of the future. About 30% of all employers are using this technology right now. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, it allows the employer to not have to pay somebody to give a candidate an interview. But for the job seeker themselves, there is positives. If you're a morning person, you could hold this during the early morning hours. If you're a night owl, you could have it in the evening. So their time, usually you have it 48 to 72 hours to do it, since it's a one-way interview. It's between you and your video camera. You get questions that are asked of you. The question will appear on the screen, and your answers will be timed. You'll have 30, 60 seconds to complete the interview question, and then it will move on to the next one. Another positive for the use of artificial intelligence, one-way interviews with employers, is they feel it's going to create a more diverse labor workforce. So there won't be humans involved. The computer will be just gauging questions and how well you answer their questions. Some of the negatives for candidates, again, cold, impersonal. It can be very difficult for folks to talk to a computer, to talk straight into the camera in a one-way interview without getting any feedback. Years ago, when they first started launching this type of interview system, Amazon, of course, being on the forefront of a lot of technology, way back in 2015, they had to stop their AI system because in 2015, it was scoring women lower than males. Which is, of course, is a huge problem. So they had to stop that practice, and they had to go into a different direction. And of course, in a traditional interview, Ed, candidates can have a two-way conversation with the interviewer. Well, in a one-way interview with a robot, you can't. You're just asking a question, and that's it. It goes on to the next one. So you don't have the abilities to say, why is this position open? How do you see my skills working in this role? And what was it about my resume that liked you so much that wanted you to bring me on board? That doesn't happen in a one-way interview. So it's important for candidates to start practicing this for these types of interviews. Next slide, please.
Tom, I have a question first.
Yes.
I think many people, including myself, may have had the impression that these interviews, one-way interviews, would be later watched by, let's say, HR personnel. But you're saying here that even before that might happen, the computers themselves are actually doing the ratings or assigning scores.
Yes, because HR offices, like many offices, are very lean today. And of course, all HR offices aren't created equal. You might have 20 in one office and you've got 2 in another, or even 1. So what happens is they're going to rely, some employers are going to rely more on the technology than others, and they might just see a score, and they'll take the top 3 candidates with the highest rated score from their one-way interview. And that's a difficult proposition for a job seeker if they have the best skills, but they just need to work on their interviewing abilities.
Thank you, Tom. I'll go to the next slide now. So folks, if you want to contact Tom for his services, you can reach him at tpatria@yahoo.com or connect with him on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/intpatria. And Tom has also given us his mobile number, 508-494-4143. Tom, any last comments or suggestions for our viewers?
Absolutely. I can't focus enough on being positive in the job search campaign. A lot of negativity in the world right now, Ed. We know that. So it's very important to be positive. Show your best. Show your best in an interview, because the employer, all they're looking at, regardless of in-person interviews, one-way interviews, the best person that shows themselves in the best possible light.
Tom, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks, Ed. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.